The Father says today that your relationship with me is off the charts. You will no longer be able to compare your spiritual experience to what others have said. Do not compare yourself to others who came before you. Their experiences do not define what I am doing in my life, but rather serve as the starting point for me to begin and pour out something fresh on me. I tell it again, where the great ones of the past left off, I am now starting to bring new glory into your life. The time has come, says the Father. The currents in the river of my goal are narrowing and speeding. This is a white water moment in the currents of my intentions. I'm going to arrive unexpectedly and talk to you. This visitation will be over before you realize it. I will release the download of heaven for this season, which will cause you to upgrade to the splendor that is yours at this hour. Brace yourself, says the Father, because everything will begin to change and shift today. The Father says today, I will bring you before nations and peoples in my name. You will walk the halls of authority and bear witness to my dominion and rule to those who believe everything begins and ends with them. I am upsetting men's governments and giving a new testament to the planet through you of my rule over national affairs. You will stand to account for yourself, but no one will see you. Instead, they will hear my words and feel my glory. They may not comprehend, but they will leave knowing they have been eternally altered. I have created an opening of spiritual release in you through which flows a river of my splendor. You are the releaser of my glory. I am drawing you back from your busyness and asking you to serve between my feet, where David's staff rests and rules over human affairs. Come away, my dear, because the hour of shift and change has arrived, and you are called to participate as a receiver while I make all things new among men. The Father says today that I am leading you out of your known comfort zones and into a region of new fruitfulness and harvest. Crops will multiply many times this season. You have sowed, says the Father, and I have witnessed it. Will you sow in my purposes but not reap via my methods, says the Father. It is your responsibility and opportunity to be a part of a new apostolic awakening. The prophetic in the ground is opening the matrix of a barren womb to provide an unmistakable testimony of signs and wonders that the world cannot ignore and the church cannot deny. The religious authority will raise their eyebrows and declare, "That cannot be God because it did not come from us." They will be angered, and I will laugh and pour down my fullness on a simple and humble people who refuse to claim the glory that belongs only to me. Today, the Father says I will be recognized in your midst as Jehovah Rapha. I am your healer. Healing is more than just what I do, it is who I am. I cannot refuse to heal any more than I can refuse to be the God of the universe. I understand that this is not what you have been taught, but it is time to reject the false authorities that judge my word based on their own experiences rather than my promise. The Father has given you a promise that will not fail. Healing will begin to occur spontaneously and instantly in you, and then spread to others. The heat of my healing abilities has been sent to you now. The sword of my spirit is in your grasp. Go out and be a doer and an implementer of my religion. I will meet you along the route and confirm my promise through signs. What's holding you back? Leave everything at my feet, and I will give you back what I want. There is a hunger and a yearning in you for authenticity, and I understand the steps you must take to attain that point of profound liberation and freedom. So, what are you waiting for? Men's opinions causing you problems. I am your protector and provider. I am providing you with new armor, even armor that has been anointed with fresh oil and burnished in the fires that ignite the embers before my altar in the heavens. The Father says today, I bid you come to a point in my process where you can relax and trust in the glory that is carrying you into my fullness of purpose in your life. Where my spirit is, there is liberty. Walk in that liberty and do not let yourself be confined by the chains of a religious mindset. Be free this day, says the Father, from past judgments. rid of deceptive circumstances that have told you can't and won't. That is not my truth, declares the Father. Relax. Relax and simply stroll in kingdom awareness, which is a state and perspective of freedom from the constraints of time and situation. I am carrying and supplying you, therefore stop thinking of yourself as just a man and start making a place in your mind and heart for the expanding and enlarging work that I am doing in your life. Today, the Father states that your prayers are like the ink used to write angel requisitions. Your prayers summon the directors of heaven and the arbiters of responses to earth. Let your mouth pray. Let your speech be copious, passionate, and sincere, says the Father. I am listening, my ear is always bent low to hear, acknowledge, and respond to your heartfelt appeal. I pay close attention to every detail of your life. I've taken note of every detail of need, desire, and passion. I am working, moving, and I am never late, says the Father. This is your moment to grow, proclaim, and decree your expectation of my faithfulness, fullness, and favor. You are the recipient. Today, I lay the garland of my favor on your shoulders. You are favored, and you will see my fullness, trustworthiness, and the answers you seek. It's who I am, and what I do. You won't be disappointed. You will not be embarrassed or denied in any manner because I am present to display my salvation in your land. The Father declares today that wherever you walk in my purposes, you will not be alone. You are a member of the Gad tribe, whose name means, Behold, a troop cometh. I am uniting the solitary into families, tribes, peoples, and countries as I populate the globe with my glory, and as I am glorified, your place in my economy will become clear. Yes, you are bringing others with you because you are one of those whose calling it is to instill my paternity in the hearts and lives of orphan children. So the Father responds to your call by saying, Awake. Speak to your spirit to awaken. Speak to your eyes to open. You are like a book that has been bound before it is even published. Don't imitate others. Your epistle is a first edition, not the pulp fiction of a trade publication of dead religions. You are the first participant. You've been waiting for this moment your entire life. Prepare yourself, says the Father, to flee with what I have given you. Your stature in me is your link, and your dedication to my goals is your onward momentum. Will you join me for the ride? Yes, you are going along on the ride. You get to take them into my depths with enthusiasm and daily childlike expectations. This is what you craved and screamed out for. You will see, hear, and get to know me, and you will influence others to do the same. The Father declares today that I have born you into the uniqueness of my kingdom. Do not be surprised or concerned by the eyes and frowns of people who know little to nothing about my magnificence. They will sneer at you with askance eyes, yet in times of desperation, they will grip your hand and clutch your sleeves, pleading that the idiosyncrasies in your life be theirs as well. I am a peculiar and particular God, and I have raised you to be a peculiar and special person via my hand. I select the weak, declares the Father. I choose the base. I choose the foolish, rejected, and despised. I select you, says the Father. Be free now from man's expectations and the falsehood of human pride, image, and dignity. Know your acceptance, approval, and permission. I give you permission to wander my courts and choose a spot to live where others would never be allowed to enter. You are my adored and the object of my affection. This day, I am wrapping you up in my goodness and introducing myself as the Creator El, your ever-present source. The Father says you weren't restless today, were you? You won't be bored wherever I take you. The splendor you formerly held as a hidden treasure now carries you in public testimony. Acquaint yourself, says the Father, with what is carrying you, and you will become acquainted with my splendor. I'll come and chat with you, and you'll hurry to the old wineskin of previous visits, which will transform into the new, supple wineskin of fresh habitation. You will be unable to rely on what you know. Instead, you will have to rely on what I say to you, which will be delivered to you through my revelatory process and will become a substance in your life even before the ink is dried. I'm not coming down to you, I've already done that. You'll have to come up to me. It is time for you to read the scroll that can only be seen at the highest areas of residence with me. I condescended to humanity so that you could ascend to divinity and be known as sons and daughters of the Most High, rather than mere servants. Come up higher, cries the Father. I tell you that the earth's keyword in this season is ascend. Ascend to a higher level of closeness and knowledge of the divine than was before understood. My spirit's indwelling in man has yet to achieve its pinnacle. The generation whose feet walk the planet at this moment are inheritors and candidates for this higher calling. Will you answer the call and become the chosen one? Mount up in my presence. Cry out and hear heaven's response, swirling on the breeze of your soul and transporting you to a new, deeper dwelling in my courts. The Father replies, enter into the full saturation of my presence in your life. Praise, declares the Father. Praise till the spirit of worship arrives. Worship till the glory comes, then stand in the glory. Oh, my dear, I have not changed my thoughts or restricted my plan. I am ready to measure my bounty in your life based on the abundance of your praise, the depth of your worship, and your desire for glory. You will see what others have wanted to see. You will recognize the lofty places of my presence as your permanent residence rather than a mere visitation. Don't settle for visitational glory, says the Father, for habitational glory is accessible to you now. Shake yourself. Manage your emotions and focus your mind. Allow everything within you to be compelled to magnify, praise, and worship, and you will see what I can do with an unrestrained and abandoned heart before me. You are the one, and I choose you. I pick you, says the Father. I appointed you as my learner, and I will bring you into my protection, provision, and purpose like never before in your life. The Father declares that it is a new day and that the new way has found you. The Father adds, today, I am calling out those who will accept Christ's full stature in their lives. When my people come together in oneness, they create the oil of my spirit. The oil that trickled down on Aaron's beard consecrated him for his role behind the veil. Will you be among the bearded ones in my glory? Come to a point of openness before me, your brothers and sisters. As you open your heart and become vulnerable, you will manifest the sun and hence my glory. The altimeter of the Spirit in your heart is spinning right now as you rise into higher realities with me than you have known in the past. This is the releasing my presence season in your life, and with that release comes freedom. You will carry the weight of the allowances and concessions in my glory that my servants have yet to make, declares the Father. You will move from splendor to glory, firmament to firmament, in a new spiritual ecosystem of my favor and visible strength. Today, the Father commands us to create a holy noise. The voice of praise is silenced in death. How can the dead praise me? You are not of the dead, you are of the living. Get loud with your praise today, says the Father. Give unwarranted praise. Let your adulation be so exuberant that it offends every religious spirit in the room. There is no dignity in tightly clutched hands, closed lips, or closed hearts. Open your heart, tongue, and hands to praise with zeal. Clap your hands, strike your hands together over your enemy, for your enemy has been defeated before he can draw his weapon, says the Father. Rejoice, says the Father. Rejoice, knowing that my song sings in the song you sing. My melody thunders and rumbles through the land, smashing the iron bars and brass gates that have kept my people from experiencing joy. The flood of joy is reaching you today, says the Father. It is rising from inside to wash away the mourning ashes, grave clothes, and sackcloth of sadness. Be restored in your rejoicing, says the Father, because it is a fresh day, a day of blessing, rebirth, and restoration, even in your youth's sinews and tissues, as well as your mind and soul. Let out the shout and flood of your voice, and I shall be known, visible, and manifest in your land. Today, the Father declares, all power is under my feet. You are my body, hence all power is under your control. No more worrying or dread. Satan's dominion has been broken. You are in the position of mastery. My shed blood assures your power over all the wicked one's efforts. You do not fight in prayer or for authority. Enter into rest and pray into the authority I've already given you through the shed blood. You are my successor and inheritor. I have completeness of triumph, therefore your victory is complete in me. Go out throughout your day today and become a faith enforcer of heaven's sovereignty on earth. I say to you, as I have always said, be it according to your faith. Your faith constructs your universe around the promises of my word. Fear not, says the Father, for I value my word over my name. Failure isn't an option. I name you a victor because my victory is being manifested in your life now. The Father says you are in me, and I am in you. All things are subject to me, and so are you, because you are in me, where you live, move, and exist. The scripture cannot be broken. My faithfulness in your situation ensures the success of my word on earth. I am not a guy who can lie. I will fulfill what I promised for you because you are the rightful heir of a royal house, and the privilege of heaven sits on your brow now. You are now authorized. Ruling and reigning do not occur in some distant period or place. Now you dominate and reign. You are a principality and a power now. Rise and smite the oppressors back with the rod of your lips, knowing that all of heaven's martial powers have been unleashed to support my word spoken through you. It's who you are and what you do, and I'm completing myself in you now. The Father thinks that you should relax today. Step into the tranquil rest and assurance of someone whose warfare has ended, for I defeated your adversary by sacrificing myself on the cross. You are blood-bought, declares the Father. You were bought and paid for. I care for my own and will not allow the enemy to interfere with my life in any manner. There is an abundance, an entire fullness of serenity, which will appear in the complete surrender of your problems and troubles to my capable hands. So, beloved, tell your spirit to rest in his rest. Trust in my rest, stay in my rest and fill yourselves up with my faithfulness. You are the sheep of my pasture, and today I bring you to eat on the green shoots of my fidelity and dependability to save and deliver you completely. I am doing a thorough job, says the Father, and will leave no thread of concern or care to disturb you from the peaceful waters you are sipping from today. Delight in my faithfulness and find peace in your spirit. As you abandon yourself to rest in me, everything in your life will naturally transform according to the template of heaven on earth. The Father adds, I came 2,000 years ago as a suffering servant, now I reign as Lord and Master. You, like me, exist in the world. How am I? Beloved, I am not impoverished or bewildered. I'm not stressed or overcome. I am not weak, unwell, or disadvantaged in any manner. This is who I am in the heavens, and I hope you can be the same on earth. Receive my fullness. Delight your heart in the entitlement that my blood bought and secured for you on the cross. Today, I announce my lordship and mastery in and through you. Do not allow anyone, including illegitimate authorities, to persuade you to abandon your faith in me. I have made it possible for what I paid for on Calvary to become the dividend of the kingdom that you get every day. Focus your devotion on this beautiful state. Focus your attention on this reality, for I am telling you today that you are wherever your attention leads you. Do not spend your consecration on anxiety, fear, uncertainty, or despair. Spend your time on your highest heart's desire and greatest dream, and it will manifest as substance in your life, according to your Lord and God. The Father says today that I despise poverty. Poverty has nothing to do with my thoughts or feelings about you. My essential essence is expressed in my name, Jehovah Jireh, and beloved, your supply is available and accessible through my hand. Allow me to retrain and retrofit your life for provision, growth, and abundance. I will never deny you or limit my completeness in any manner. When you chastise your children, do you impoverish them or infect them with a dread disease? There are those with religious beliefs who dare to accuse me of such crimes. Reach out today with the extension of your trust, knowing that you will not bring your hand to your bosom empty. I am a God of abundance and a caring Father. I am the God of increase, so increase will be your part since you are my child. Let this be the day when we no longer have to argue and agonize about supply, lack, or limitation in any form. As the presumed blessing from my throne, make it your heart's desire to be supply and provision-minded. Take no more consideration of any of those things. Instead, resolve to devote the entirety of your thoughts to seeking first the kingdom, knowing that all else will be added to you. The Father says it is time to stop praying weak prayers, reading weak books, and hearing weak messages. Weak prayers lead to weak results. It is time for a challenge, according to the Father. It is time to confront the perpetrators of injustice and the inhabitants of darkness. It is now time to reclaim your loved ones and the children whose minds have been corrupted by the enemy. Just as Moses refused to leave Egypt without his children, you will not leave until you have brought out every man, woman, and kid that I have entrusted to you. Fear not the enemy, for he is on the losing side, says the Father. The scoreboard has already been established and declared in heaven. You are the victor. You are the authority on earth because you submitted to the power of heaven. The Father supports your prayers, so don't be afraid to be bold, strong, and audacious in front of your critics and opponents. He will quiet them with answers from on high. The Father says that today I instilled faith of God in you. The faith passed by as I simply peered out into the darkness and said, "Light be." I have fostered in you the faith by which I looked at a howling storm and simply whispered, "Be still." I placed this in you, says the Father. It is your part from my hand, as well as the gift I have bestowed upon you. Go out today and become a demon master. You are aware that they are not very difficult. No weapon made against you will succeed. You were not designed for defeat or failure. You will endure and overcome, and you will bear witness to my unwavering love, power, and deliverance in you, over you, and around you. You are in the sea of my presence, and I am buying and upholding you. This day, I will deposit you on the shores of heaven's solutions coming to earth on your behalf. The Father declares today that the redemption I have provided for you is limitless. I have no bounds, and so does your redemption. I do not enjoy modest friendship, provision, or deliverances. I am not a God of insignificant favors. I am the God of push down all your enemies' rescue, leaving you with the victor's crown and all your opponents with nothing but a burning crater of destruction. The Father says, I am with you, in you, and all around you today. Are you ready to sing at the top of your voice with a full heart, "O God, great is your faithfulness," instead of "Woe is me"? I am here today in visitation to change, transform, and deliver. Listen to my voice and my song, and you will see armies of angels around you right now. Rejoice, says the Father, today is your day of triumph. Today, the Father declares, where my spirit is, there is liberty. Liberty is my fundamental state, and it is manifested whenever I am appreciated, lifted, and acknowledged. Do not sell yourself into the bonds or limitations imposed by those who do not understand how to appreciate their salvation. All of my roots are filled with peace, laughter, and happiness, says the Father, and no matter where you are today, this is where I am heading you. So, today, identify the constraints of illegitimate power in your life. Allow them to drift away. I liberate you today. You have asked and waited for me to release you, and today I open the door and say, take your freedom. You will go out with joy and be carried forth in peace. My joy in your heart determines the direction, while my tranquility determines the timing. My peace I give you now because the time, hour, and moment has come for you to exit from all sinful control and manipulation, according to the Father. I liberate you, says the Father, walk forth now, and you will rejoice much in the days ahead. The Father says, others may, you cannot. Don't worry about what others seem to get away with. Your life is under my supervision, and I am watching over you today. Do not be distracted by disobedient children. They will never select the right route in life. Fear not, says the Father, since this is your promotion time, as well as the season of breakthrough and blessing you have been looking forward to. Others may, but you cannot. I'm limiting you and leading you down a narrow route that the mindless mob avoids. They may falter, but you will endure. They will faint and fall by the wayside, but you will hold fast to the promises I have given you by my hand. They will grope at midday, but you will see through even the darkest circumstances because I will be both your light and the enlargement of your steps. This is your hour and day of being, as my Spirit's DNA shapes and transforms you into the son and daughter I have called you to be. The Father says today, let my love constrain you. When people degrade themselves with harsh words and selfish actions, make it your goal to study the laws of liberty and love and be changed. Be changed today, says the Father. Be transformed into my image, and all creation will align itself for your blessing and profit. Allow my image to remodel and reconstruct you until the scarred countenance of sin is entirely removed. You have your Father's eyes, replies the Father. You see with my eyes and feel via my heart. Make your mind and soul align with that truth, for it is your responsibility to reflect my glory and my heart to those who are lost and searching for a single act of kindness from your hand to give them hope for the next day. Go out today and personify love. Personify love and reflect my actual personality, not the twisted picture of religious intolerance and hatred. I call you my love and my beloved. God out and be beloved and witness the transformation I promised you. Today, the Father declares, I am raising a people who will walk radically in the law of love. The only way to master the law of sowing and reaping is to progress to the higher law, the law of love. As you progress through the rule of love, you become the Lord of the harvest. You will sow in a barren land and harvest a plentiful crop. You will sow during hunger and reap 100-fold return in the same season. In your life, you will witness the plowman overtake the reaper, and the seed sown will yield a harvest before it reaches the ground. The Father insists that this is not a fantasy. It is the no-fail zone for love that never fails. If love never fails, there is no need to leave it. The wisdom of the world denies this fact. This is the love fact, the Father declares. It is impossible to fail when you live your life by the law of love. So, let love sowing bring love's reaping, and mount up with those wings of favor. I've overshadowed you into the new territory I've annexed you into, even the area that reigns over all small-minded selfishness and compels you to think with my mind and love with my heart today. The Father declares today that you are an inheritor, first partaker, and participant in my kingdom. Accept this pledge and dress accordingly today. Determine now that you are not a frightened, fearful slave, but a God inside-minded heir to heaven's throne. What is there to fear now that the throne is backing you? The throne is supporting you in all your endeavors. Thus, be bold and expecting and believing that your deepest heart's desire will become substance and reality as you trust and rely on me. The Bank of Heaven has approved your entitlement, says the Father. Take advantage of your privilege today and claim it as the blood-bought provision of Calvary. Only the occasion of your faith can bring about the shift and change you have longed for. I am not a faraway God. I am your breath and your life, and this is the season and time when all of heaven's best is manifesting in your life. The Father declares today that you are the conqueror of sickness and disease. The plagues that have confused medical knowledge will not reach you because I have surrounded you with my protection and favor. There is nothing to worry about because my irreducible life resides in you, protecting you from all defects and viruses. Fear not, says the Father, nor be terrified when the overwhelming plague strikes the land. Others will flee in terror, but you will bravely pray over those unfortunate victims, and healing will ensue. I am giving evidence anew of my healing power, precisely as I stated in my word, by the stripes you were healed. Enter this day into the past provision, says the Father, for my word is genuine and my promise is your certainty. Your health is rapidly improving, and your stamina will be as strong as it was when you were young. You will recapture the sinew and stamina of years gone by, and there will be dancing and happiness in your nation because I am the faithful one, and I will be found faithful in your scenario and situation. The Father declares today that the pinnacle of what faith may do has yet to be reached. Even as I walked the planet in human form, I declared that you would be among those who would take part in bigger works. The sheer fact that I spoke such a thing proved that it would undoubtedly come true, for my words cannot fail to come out of my mouth. It is given to you to know the full extent of privilege in my kingdom, declares the Father. You will clutch on to the unfulfilled promises of my word in your life and experiences. You will possess your goods and distribute a share to others who do not have any. I have ordered that you would be more than just a receiver, but also a repository of blessing and my miracle-working power of spilling out to others. So I challenge you, says the Father, to prove me a liar and my promise ineffective. Do not allow the enemy to stifle your witness. Speak freely and loudly of my faithfulness, and you will never be ashamed. I am coming through for you and all those who grasp onto the hope inherent in your testimony. The Father says, open your mouth, pick up your pen, and let your words be strong, for I am here to support you in all your endeavors. The Father declares today that you are my blood covenant spouse. Your relationship with me is not based on a religious lifestyle or a pseudo-spiritual affectation or way of thinking. Beloved, I am your all and all. Do not let the enemy tease you with dead religious vanities. I leave to you the substance of myself. I impart to you the whole stature of Christ. I live, move, and act in your life based on Christ's shed blood. The blood that was shed serves as the foundation for your entitlement to everything that heaven has to offer. I'm not waiting for some insignificant someday to become who I am to you. I am now your healer, your supplier, and the solution to every problem you confront. Rejoice, says the Father. Rejoice and be pleased because your blessed moment has arrived, and nothing will derail or impede my more than you can ask or think plan. Allow my yes to be responded with your yes today, and then let me work out the details. All things are possible, says the Father, and I will not let you live another day outside of the full scope of my favor. The Father declares today that my fullness is yours. I've seen the emptiness in your heart, as well as the longing you've expressed for my courts. The Father believes you should stay, even if the enemy has enticed you to give up on life at times. Be strong. Be encouraged. The Father adds, I have a plan that includes your highest heart's desires as well as my greatest purpose. I have ordered that you will be a part of my grander plans than you realize. You are not insignificant, says the Father. I am not willing to do the things I intend to do in the world without you. I am defining cooperation for you, and I am joining you today to illuminate your path and provide you joy along the way. I do not want you to live without joy, so you will not live without it. I am your portion, declares the Father, and I declare that your blessing time has arrived. The Father says today that the giving up of your praise and worship should be the wave offering you make each morning. You are a priest of the eternal order. The ephod of priesthood I have given you is white with the righteousness purchased for you on Calvary. When you raise the wave offering, the morning oblation of your praise, all heaven notices because your praise offerings are valuable to me, declares the Father. As your plaudits rise, the adversary's barriers to your success fall. The opponent despises your praise and your words of respect and worship. They sting his eyes and feel like a lash across his back. Let praise be your warfare, says the Father. Don't focus your attention on the opponent but on the throne. You are where your attention leads you, and I have prepared an ascension blessing for you that will immediately reconfigure your entire life for favor and blessing. Today, the Father explains that people who argue that you can't have it all don't believe there is enough for everyone. When it comes to your deepest wishes, I'm not on a tight budget. Did I not make it clear in my gospel that all things would be added? Your role is to seek first the kingdom. My response is to ensure that it happens. All means everything. All means all, declares the Father, without qualification or exception. I am not searching for reasons to deny or postpone the promises I made to you in my word. I wish you prosperity and good health, just as your soul prospers. So your portion is to ensure the prosperity of your soul by focusing your attention on things that are pure, beautiful, lovely, and of good reputation. I realize that isn't everything in your life, but you may trust me with those things since I am watching out for you in every manner possible for your blessing. The Father responds, I am working with you to will and do my good pleasure. The Father replies, today I declare to you that you will walk in light of your testimony. The prophetic word for your life will not fail. You did not misunderstand what I said when I poured my vision into your existence. Your seeing and hearing were not impaired in the least since I promised you that your highest heart's desire and the greatest goal would be achieved, and it would undoubtedly happen. You will see the light of life in the land of the living and understand the entire scope of my goodness and blessings. No, you do not deserve it. My love is not dependent on your own merits. Prayers are answered by the merits of the cross rather than anything you can achieve or accomplish in my name. Let your service and sacrifices stem from the joy of knowing me, rather than striving to earn or be good enough to see my favor bloom in your land. I adore you wholeheartedly with no ties attached. I am not a carrot and stick God, rather, I am the God who gives you more than you could ever want or imagine. I am so confident in my ability to love that I chose to love you when you were a rebel and a sinner, knowing that my love would transform, shift, and modify your path, bringing you into the full blooming of my character in all holiness and integrity. So, rest in my love and purpose for today to simply respond to the truth that you are my beloved, and I will take care of the specifics in your life. The Father says that it is time to transition from fellowship to relationship in my kingdom. The Father declares that there are levels in your spiritual experience that have yet to be explored. I'm bringing this up because you've called out for more and desired glory, which is now available. I am not going to descend to you, you must ascend to me and know me in my glory, power, and truth. There will be no more weak lessons or diluted understandings. The demands in your life require solid flesh and deep realism, which is available. However, the following step is up to you. I've done what I came to do, and I've sat down at the right hand, waiting. I'm not wringing my hands, wondering what to do about your circumstance, says the Father. I've acted, empowered, and anointed you to act, so speak, and experience the release of my glory, which causes change. The Father says that change is available. Change is possible, but only if you respond and take action. I am with you, says the Father. Be bold and courageous, because your enemies will fall before your face today. Today, the Father declares that the truth will always triumph over falsehood. It has been suggested that you are misled because you haven't been willing to accept no, or settle for less than highest heart's desire, greatest dream fulfilled. You are in the truth, says the Father, and I am the way, truth, and life. People in your life who you believed you didn't measure up to are no longer in your life because of my placement. It is time to demolish the false gods and self-appointed authorities who would not recognize my truth if it appeared to them in a clear vision. You are the kid of my right hand, declares the Father, and my favor, my great favor, is radically bestowed upon you. Are you prepared for this? Do you believe this? Do you believe that I am capable of going above and beyond what you ask or think? Then get ready for a new visitation. I'm exposing the enemy's lies in your life. The opponent has presented a picture of victimization and powerlessness. On the contrary, I believe you are a principality with power over all circumstances. It is time to move on from hoping that something is true to knowing that it is true and experiencing its impact on your life. Here is the enemy's deception. There is no such thing as random chance or luck. Some say, isn't that just my luck? You are a child of my favor, and my default answer to you is yes. The Father declares today that I am your righteousness. I've made provisions for you to stand in my presence without feeling fearful, condemned, or inferior. You are my child. I gave birth to you. Your new birth is not a religious concept, it is a reality. You are God's kind. You are bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. I've included you in the natural event continuum just for this occasion. You were not born to suffer or be subjected to the Dark One's goal. I am the Master, thus you are also a master. I am mastering the adversary through you and on your side. The rod of my authority is also the rod of my mouth, which includes my speech. Store my message in your heart and use it as a weapon against Satan's attempts to harm you. The enemy cannot and will not stand when you resist him with the words I have placed in your heart. Draw your sword, says the Father. Wield it with faith in my unwavering presence in your life. I'm closing the gap between my promise and your experience. You will fully understand the total and absolute trustworthiness of my promises, and you will share the reality of my power with others, freeing countless captives.